Mark Zuckerberg bought a $6 million property in Palo Alto, California, just 3 miles from Facebook headquarters in July 2012, and funded it with a 30-year mortgage. He had an estimated $15.6 billion in wealth at age 28, and was the 40th richest person in the world. If you have billions of cash and can easily afford it, why would you go into debt? Buying a dozen properties for $6 million each would be no problem for him. Consequently, why should one choose a mortgage? Though the explanation is very involved, to put it simply, it is free money. We know you may think it is nonsense, and one in their right mind would give a billionaire like him free money. If you can borrow money at a rate lower than the inflation rate, which is currently running between 2.5 and 3% in the US, you might as well be getting this money for free. We will be explaining this one further, but for now, this is a Financial Path. And before we go on, please hit the thumbs up button and might as well click the subscribe and bell button to stay updated for more of our future content. But for now, let's move forward. The interest rate of Zuckerberg's mortgage is currently slightly over 1.05%, but it's adjustable so that it could go up in the future, depending on market conditions. Since the mortgage rate is lower than the inflation rate, the bank is losing money. One need not to be a mathematical genius to perform simple calculations. Let's pretend for a moment that you can borrow $1 million at a 1% interest. The typical savings account yields a rate of return of 2.4%. Thus, if you put that $1 million into a different bank, you'll earn $24,000 a year and just have to pay $10,500 per month to the bank that loaned it to you in the first place. Visualize doing it with $100 million, or about $1 billion. There's no reason to invest your own money when you can borrow money for free and put it to use elsewhere better. Of course, this may not make sense when talking about tiny amounts of money, because the difference isn't that huge. However, when it comes to large numbers, tinkering with 1, 2, or 0.5% may potentially equal tens of thousands, if not hundreds. If you were a successful businessman who can purchase a 1 million home without breaking the bank, why not invest that money in your company and make 10, 20, or even 30%? If you want to avoid trying to research better ways to invest your money, buying an index fund is often a safe and effective alternative when time frames of 20 or 30 years are considered. Generally speaking, an index fund can expect an annual return of about 8%. Those extra percentage points can be used toward principal or invested in a low-cost index fund. The deciding factor is the opportunity cost. Zuckerberg might get a mortgage with an interest rate of 1%. Therefore, it wouldn't make financial sense for him to pay cash for the house. Nonetheless, he isn't the first one of his kind to think like that. For example, most of Elon Musk's fortune is related to Tesla and SpaceX. So, if he wanted to buy a 20 million mansion, he could have to sell a sizable piece of his wealth, pay taxes, and incur other fees. However, he could accept free money and keep his monthly payment within his budget. He has a $180,000 monthly payment on a $61 million mortgage for 5 houses in California. By the way, that's not only something billionaires do. Even those with more modest means, like Jay-Z or Beyonce, engage in it. With the help of a mortgage, they could purchase their $88 million mansion. They paid a 40% deposit and financed the remaining $52.8 million. As a result, the couple now has a monthly payment of $149,000. By comparison, the median value of home in the United States is close to $200,700. Instead of stowing away $53 million in a mansion, he has invested it well. He is well on becoming a billionaire due to his many successful business ventures. The more money you have, the more creative ways you can think of to make more. Not everyone is offered such a low mortgage rate. The national average is closer to 3%. However, even if you qualify for a mortgage at that rate, it still isn't a good financial decision to buy a home. But hold on a second there. let's get one thing straight. Why should the super rich pay a lower rate rather than the rest of the population? When you are a billionaire, the bank doesn't have to worry about you defaulting on your loan. Even if something unforeseen did happen, you could liquidate some of your assets to pay off your mortgage. That's in the stark contrast to the regular worker, who can suddenly become ill and unable to report to work, or who might be let go for no apparent reason at all. Second, if you make mortgage payments on time each month, your credit score will rise, making it easier to get a loan from the bank the next time you need one. When you interact positively with financial institutions, you establish a foundation of trust. Of course, the inverse is also possible. Financial institutions provide cheap mortgage rates to foster a positive relationship with wealthy customers in the hopes that these customers will return to the institution for business loans in the future. In this case, everyone benefits. But as we mentioned, these historically low mortgage rates are variable and subject to increase. However, there is no cause for alarm because even if the economics no longer make sense for the uber wealthy, they can easily afford to pay off their mortgage. However, most people view that negatively because most of us borrow money for luxuries we can actually afford and end up paying back much more than we originally borrowed. In fact, it is only after graduation that you realize how much of a financial burden student loans really are. After figuring out how long it will take to repay the loan, the negative connotation of debt becomes clear. And it's even worse when you can't even default on it. Taking on a lot of debt is a tremendous gamble, and making even a few mistakes can have devastating results. Actually, we have gotten so deep into debt that most of us can't even afford an unexpected $500 expense because of all of our monthly payments. On the other hand, this is what sets bad debt apart from good debt. Debt can destroy your life, leave you without a roof over your head, and leave your family in shambles if you're careless, but it can also make you filthy rich if you use it wisely. Gaining access to leverage is like having instantaneous access to unlimited wealth. For illustration's sake, let's assume you purchase this house for $10,000 and then sell it for $11,000. Congratulations! You've just made a $1,000 profit, although a small one. But if you apply leverage by first borrowing $990,000 from the bank and adding your own $10,000, you'll have $1 million. You could go to your vendor and buy 100 phones for $1 million. Then, you could turn around and sell them for $1.1 million. But you still have a debt to the bank of $990,000 plus interest rates of $10,000. So you return to the bank. You're sitting on $100,000 after that. Your personal investment of $10,000 has been subtracted, leaving you with a net profit of $90,000. You have to get creative when you don't have any cash on hand. Both you and the bank reap the benefits of the transaction success. Of course, when this formula is taken to an extreme and is not regulated by government and practiced by everyone on Wall Street, it turns into financial crisis, as occurred in 2008. Do you remember when real estate prices dropped like a rock? And the whole economy went down with them? The answer is that the investment banks overestimated their ability to earn through debt, which ultimately led to their demise, as a result of their liberalizing mortgage lending to those who needed better credit or the means to keep up with their monthly payments. The housing market collapsed. Then, as predicted, they stopped paying their mortgages, which was a major problem for the lenders, because housing prices have been steadily growing for the past 4 decades before suddenly dropping. We won't delve into the specifics of the 2008 financial catastrophe here, but the stock market is still a vital component of the wealthiest people's toolkit. The stakes are high, and you could lose everything if you are not careful, but savvy investors can quickly amass a fortune. On the other hand, that concludes our video for today. And if you have any thoughts about this one, please feel free to share your insights in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. This is Financial Path, And if you enjoyed watching our content, then make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and bell button to see more of our future uploads about personal investments and financing. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.